Hi everybody, I'm Seth Davis and welcome to Center for Healing Arts, where light and love win. There's been a lot of talk about our Mother Earth's ascension into the fifth dimension over the last few years. And so some people believe that and some people don't believe that. Personally, in my experience, I believe that it's actually happening because certain events have happened to me and I've experienced them. And it goes along with what is happening on the planet. So a lot of strange things have been happening on our planet. A lot of heavy dynamics, a lot of energy moving along the crystalline grid, or the matrix that connects us all and connects everything together in the universe. If we're sensitive enough, we can feel that movement amongst the crystalline grid. So it can be pretty intense sometimes, as some of these darker forces are making their moves on humanity. And we see it all over the place in our governments and media, etc. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So what I really like to focus on is just some simple information and steps and guidelines that we can do as humans to feel better. I don't know about you, but I know for myself, there have been periods where I've felt really tired and exhausted because of what's happening to my body as it's going through the different changes. We can always go back to simple breathing when the world gets too complicated and things are not going our way. We can just step back for a moment and take a few simple breaths. I came across something out of India, out of South India. This is called the Satyopanishad. So this is what the Guru Satya Sai Baba says about breathing and how it connects to the body. So he says, Sai Baba says, the breath has to be retained for the same duration you took to inhale, and the same time taken for retention should be taken for exhalation. These three processes should take equal intervals of time. You should not gasp or become breathless. It should be natural. Okay? So what he's saying is, when we breathe, a very simple exercise that we can do is you breathe in for 4 seconds through the nostrils. You hold at the top for 4 seconds, and you exhale out of the mouth for 4 seconds. So as you're holding at the top, you're not holding your breath. It's just a pause, okay? So it's breathe in for 4 seconds. At the top for 4 seconds. Out for 4 seconds. So that's a very simple, easy exercise that everybody can do to begin to have control over the breath. Now, there are obviously more advanced exercises that you can build upon off of this one. For example, you can hold longer, you can hold at the top longer, and you can exhale longer. So that would be for 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds. So for example, so after you gain mastery of that, or it becomes normalized, the body takes over and it starts doing that automatically. Or if it's not doing it automatically, it will in times that you need it to. So Sai Baba goes on to say that this has to be practiced, and with time, you have to take breath through one nostril, okay, alone, and exhale through the other one. Now we're getting a little more advanced. We'll talk about that in a later video. Right now we're just talking about the breath and the concept of breathing, because it's so pure, it's so sweet, it's so important that we don't want to forget about that. Also, in the first session of structural integration, it's all about the breath. So these breathing exercises from the Upanishads go right along with the first hour of structural integration. You breathe in, the air goes through certain chambers. These are called Ida and Pingala. And in between them is the Sushumna. So it's in the space, and then the space in between things. I will elaborate, I will explain. When there's a mistake in the process, the lungs actually get a little bit damaged. Not only this, but the brain can also become damaged. When there's not enough oxygen in a person's system, it can damage the lungs and the brain. The process of breathing is a very subtle process, but when practiced correctly, you will experience no strain or no pain, and no matter how much you do it, okay? So in the body, there are energy points, chakras. There are 6 life-sustaining points along the vertebral column. The lowest chakra is a fundamental chakra. It's a primordial life-sustaining point on the vertebral column. Muladhara chakra. In pranayama, when you're breathing, during the holding aspect of the breath, so when you're at the top of the breath, that's when the Kundalini gets stimulated. So the pressure, when your lungs are pressurized with the oxygen, it forces the Kundalini to start to move because it gets a little bit disturbed by the breath. It starts to generate its forces, okay? So holding the breath begins that process. And then the Kundalini can start to move upward, and it's in its restlessness due to the lack of supply of air across the chakras. So it finally reaches the top of the head chakra where it pushes on the metaphysical and psychic petals of the flower of the crown chakra. Okay, so the breath stimulates the Kundalini, and the Kundalini stimulates the head and crown chakra. Okay, the head and crown chakra stimulate the pineal gland. All right, so in the more advanced breathing exercises, for example, these guys who breathe in rapid successions of breath, and they do it a bunch, okay, and then they have like psychedelic visions in their mind, because what's happening is the DMT in the pineal gland is getting activated by the breath, and they're having a cosmic experience. So the same chemicals that are in the DMT are in the pineal gland, exactly the same. And what it is basically called piezoelectric energy. Piezoelectric energy. So that's the same thing that's in DMT. So what that means is it's light. It's a super compacted light. So if you took a piece of DMT into a dark room and you hit it with a hammer or a rock or something, you would see little sparks or light flashing off of the pineal gland or the DMT, because that's called piezoelectric light. So that light is a really special light because it's what conducts the cosmic connection to the universe. Okay, so that's why we're talking about breathing, because all of these things get activated upon the breath. And we're just talking about a very basic breath. The main point is that the count has to be the same. So if you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, and you're out for 4, okay? So that's a really important component to getting control of the breath. Now, Satya Sai Baba goes on to say that the top chakra is like a 1,000-petaled lotus flower. The petals of the central jyoti. Central jyoti means the inner light. So a person's radiant light. If a person has demonic qualities, okay, and they do this, the divine qualities of the jyoti, the divine qualities of the light, by their nature, starts touching the petals. Okay, thus Kundalini affects the human body during this course of sadhana. A living being taking many breaths per day, I think we take 20,000 breaths per day. This will increase the span of a lifetime if you breathe this way. So there are 33 rings located in the spinal column. And located between the 9th and the 12th rings is a nadi. Okay, the nadi is a passage. It's a vital passage, okay? If the sitting posture is erect, So this means you want to be sitting erect. So your spine needs to be erect. Okay, so that's why people sit on the floor a lot and cross their legs. It's because it forces the spine to be straight. So when you do that, you actually feel the energy circulating around. It doesn't take much effort to do it. You can do it easily. And those of you who know how to do this already, okay, yeah, but it's always good to go over it again. And those of you who have never heard about this is a great starting point. Experts in yogic practices say that there is a serpent or a snake-like energy called Kundalini at the Muladhara chakra. So that's a super powerful energy at the base of the spine, okay? And when aroused, this energy, described as a serpent, gradually moves in and up the spinal column. And many methods are available for awakening this latent power of the consciousness, and pranayama, or meditative breathing, is one of some of them. In this process, air is held for some time, and then exhaled. That's it. During the retention period, the breathing action is deliberately suspended as a part of the pranayama, and there is neither inhaling or exhaling. So again, I'm not holding my breath. So I'm not, it's not that. It's just, you come up to the top of the breath and you sit there. You're not holding, it's just sitting, waiting, okay? So you're waiting for the time, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's it, man. So the waiting for the time brings you super present in the moment, and you can have super present experience, being super present in the present moment. Okay. I call that a near brush with reality. Okay. When you come so present that you can feel the reality of it. Those are called peak moments in life, and we're all going for those peak moments. So through breathing, you can get that. Okay. Anyway, when you're sitting like that, when you're sitting cross-legged on the floor, the spine is erect, a lot of great productive things happen. This posture improves memory and discipline, and certain types of purification are necessary. So to start with, the body has to be kept pure, okay? That doesn't mean washing with soap and shampoo. That means doing your meditations, your breathing practices, your yogic practices, and working on your clients daily if you can. All right, everybody, it's been a great session. Thank you all for listening and being with me. If you like this sort of thing, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. And you can also hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of the future videos. If you have any comments, I invite you to leave them in the comments. Anything you want to add, or anything that you may be interested in, or any questions that you might have. Thanks, everybody. God bless and Godspeed.